Hello friends, welcome back to Handmade Not Hallmark. Amanda here. I want to welcome you to card number 1 of my In the Garden card series for this year. I'm super excited to bring you guys this spring themed card series that I've been working really hard on. This first card features some simple ink blending with a little bit of die cutting, and I really hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. The main die cut for this card is the Crocus die from Simon Says Stamp, as well as some simple greetings from the Get Well Soon stamp set from Honeybee. And we're going to be using some Distress Oxide colors today. I really think the oxides blend really well together, and they give you a nice subtle look, and I think they're really easy to work with. I've got some Bristol Smooth cardstock here I'm going to lay down on my stencil mat to help hold my paper in place. The key with using any kind of distress inks for blending is to make sure you get a lot of ink down on your paper. I prefer using Bristol Smooth because I think the inks, especially the oxide inks, move really easily on the Bristol paper because the Bristol has like a little bit of a coating over top of it, and the ink just slides over top and it blends really well. And these oxides have a lot of pigment in them, so again, they blend really well. I really like these colors together. The Picked Raspberry, Seedless Preserves, and Chipped Sapphire. I think they're a really pretty combination, and I want to try this combination with the new color, the new Saltwater Taffy. I think it would be really pretty as well. I'm just going back and forth, blending from the Picked Raspberry into the Chipped Sapphire, and kind of going back and forth until I get a desired blend. I really think this color combination looks really well, and you could do it either way with the pink on the top or the blue on the top. I think either way it would look really nice. Just going back and forth until I get the blend exactly the way I want. I'm going to set it off to the side to dry completely before we do any more work with it. Next, I'm going to take this Crocus die, and I die cut it 3 times out of some heavyweight cardstock. This is one of my favorite ways to add kind of dimension to a card, and with a die cut. I really love this Crocus die cut. I think it's really pretty and detailed, and you could do a lot with it. I think inlay die cutting would be really neat. As well as maybe doing some ink smushing, anything like that. These dies are so versatile and they're really intricate and pretty. But today I wanted to just keep it simple, which has been kind of my theme lately. I feel like I do well when I keep it simple instead of try to go really extravagant with a card. So keeping it simple with this nice white die cut, and I'm just going to stack all of these up on top of each other using some liquid glue. Now, while I'm getting all of these stacked up, I want to talk a little bit about my In the Garden card series. This is going to be a spring-themed card series, so they're going to be open-ended cards. They're not really going to have, any particular theme to the card itself. They're just all going to feature anything that you might find in a garden. It could be flowers, it could be bugs, it could be animals, anything that I feel would be very spring related. That's the whole theme behind my series for this year. I really was excited to try to do a spring themed series. I might throw a few Easter ones in here and there because Easter is right around the corner, but I do want them to kind of focus mainly around florals and all things spring. Once I had those die cuts all stacked up and they're setting off to the side to dry completely, I wanted to work on my greeting. I chose the Thinking of You from the new Honeybee's Get Well Soon stamp set. This came out in their newest release, their spring release, and I really like their greetings. I really love the different types of fonts and how they go together. Now, I kind of made a mistake here. I left this in here because I thought it was really funny. I was going to stamp this sentiment down, and I inked it all up, but I never closed my Misty door. I don't know if I got distracted with kids or what happened here, but I was really confused. I was like, where is the stamping? I was like, it's not showing up. Am I crazy? And I had one of my boys over here with me, and he's like, I don't think you stamped it. So I stamped it again, and it turned out I really didn't stamp it. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was really funny that I thought I stamped it, and I really didn't. So I just used some clear sticky ink from Simon, and I'm also using some antique gold embossing powder. I really like adding the gold accents to this card. I really think it's a nice element, a nice thing to do for spring cards. You might see a lot of gold being added into my cards for this series. I really think it's a nice touch when you need to add just a little bit of shine and sparkle. Once I get that all heated up, I'm going to cut it out with the coordinating dies. It's another reason why I really like these sets from Honeybee, because all of their greetings have coordinating dies, and it makes it so easy to you know, add it to your cards. Next, I've got the Frames die from Simon. This is a really versatile set, and I use it quite a bit. And I'm just going to cut out a thin frame border out of this base here. Now, this can be a little scary because you don't want anything to shift and you don't want to get it messed up. The ink blending didn't take me very long, but you know, it's still a process. If you mess up, you have to redo. And then I'm going to take that same die and I'm going to cut it out of some gold foil cardstock. It's not really foiled, it just appears to be foiled. I really like the shine on this, and it is really, really bright all in one sheet, but whenever you cut it out nice and thin and you put it with something else, it really kind of tones it down a little bit, and I think it looks really good with this card. And next I was kind of laying out my design here, and I felt like the greeting was kind of being hidden a little bit. It didn't really pop out or stand out as much as I wanted to, so I have a quick fix for that. I'm going to take a top folding A2 size card base cut out of some Simon 110 pound cardstock, and I'm going to get all of my pieces adhered, and we'll get that greeting attached as well. I really love this frame die. It is so fun to work with, and I really think it's a good way to ground your images. I use it quite a bit whenever I've got like a singular item. I think it really kind of helps frame it up and give it, you know, some focus. I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere all of my pieces to my frame together, and then we'll get the little skinny frame attached here as well. You could use tape runner as well. You could use anything really. I just prefer to use the liquid glue because the frame is so thin that sometimes it gets a little wonky. So I like to use a liquid glue because I can set it down in there and I can almost kind of slide it through the adhesive and push it into place, so the glue kind of gets coated all over the back anyway. And I like using a little tool to kind of help push everything in where it needs to go so it's all nice and even. And I find that really works out great for me. Next, I wanted to get the second portion adhered here because I'm going to use some vellum. The vellum is going to help kind of bring some focus to our greeting, kind of help it pop away from all of that busyness in the background and help it stand out a little bit more without covering up too much of what we've got going on here. And I really think this crocus stands out so beautifully against this background. I really think some inlay die cutting with this would be really nice with some ink smushing. I think that would make for a really pretty card as well. Get all that nice and adhere. Remove some of the excess glue that kind of filtered through the sides. Even though it dries clear, it's still nice to kind of clean it up. So here's that nice heavyweight vellum. This is some vellum from Simon, and I'm just going to adhere the greeting across the strip here. Now this will get trimmed down once we attach it, using some liquid glue to attach that down. Get that nice and even, because I didn't want to, I could have cut it out of black and white and did white embossing, but I didn't want to add black to this card because I felt like it wasn't springy enough. So you can see here what we're going to be going with, and I wanted it to pop away a little bit more from that die cut, so I'm just going to add some foam adhesive. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I wanted to add it on there so it popped away just a little bit more from that die cut, so that it stood out just a tiny bit more. You still get the illusion of being able to see through it because it is vellum, and I really like the way that that looks. And that adhesive, use the grid lines on my mat, excuse me, to get all of that lined up. And we're just going to fold over the vellum strips on the back. You won't see it once we attach the rest of this onto our card base. Using some liquid glue. Now I could have just folded these over and taped them down, and it would have, you know, it wouldn't have mattered. I didn't really need to cut it off or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure everything was nice and adhered flat. Now we can add some more glue on the back of our panel here. You'll never see those folded edges. And I didn't get it quite bumped up to the top, so you'll see me place it down, and then I peel it off really quickly before the glue has an opportunity to really set. You could see there was like a really definitive line, white line right across the top there, and it was really noticeable. So I decided to peel it off really carefully and add a little bit more adhesive and shift it up into place. Get that all adhered down. And I really love the blending on this, and I do apologize if my head gets in the way. I just wanted to make sure that I got it nice and lined up evenly. It was such a beautiful day here today. We all went for a walk. We all took a really nice long walk, and the kids really enjoyed being out in the sunshine and out in the really nice weather. I hope you guys are all having some nice weather coming your way. I think we're all ready for it. Next, on the inside of the card, I didn't want to waste that leftover little frame that was cut from our ink blended piece. I felt like it would look really cool on the inside of the card as well, just to kind of frame up the secondary greeting that I'm going to add inside. And I really like this look. I think it was really neat. So I just used some tape runner instead of liquid glue because I didn't want to accidentally glue my card shut. So I used some liquid glue, or excuse me, I did not use liquid glue. I used tape runner to adhere that down and got it nice and even. And I think it looks so cool inside the card. And there's still plenty of room to write a little greeting. I'm going to take another greeting from that Get Well Soon, and I'm going to stamp it on the inside using some of the Seedless Preserves oxide ink. I think it's the best ink for stamping because it does have those pigments in them, or pigment ink in it, so it makes it really nice for stamping. Get that lined up with an acrylic block here, and just get that stamped down on the inside. So it reads, "You're on my mind and in my heart." I really like that greeting. I think it's super sweet. Next, I'm going to go in with a aqua shimmer pen, and I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer to our greeting, as well as the crocus die cut. And that will finish up this card for today. I didn't want to add any more shimmer. I felt like there was plenty on there with the gold accents. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. I can't wait to share with you more cards coming your way during my In the Garden card series. Hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye!
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.